Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everybody. Are you awake now? Good morning. I'm calling to order the Elderly Affairs Committee of July 26, 2021, and the time is 8:42. You want to call the roll call?
All right. I gotta. Dottie Wicks,
Here.
Lourdes Corvo,
Here.
Alexandro Alonso, Alex Serrano, Omaida. I saw you. Ziamara, Diego, Marie Deming, Pedro, Jackie Lebeda, Ida McCarthy. Good morning. Marie Medros, Rosario, David Oliver, Gabby, no, Nancy Rogers, good morning, Michael Salem, and Sarah Suarez, good morning.
Willie, would you like to explain about the minutes?
We're going to need to vote to postpone the minutes for next meeting, to defer them. The minutes there was some issue with technical recording, so Ryan and I are working on getting that uploaded. But we're going to need the committee to approve deferral for next meeting, please.
Okay, public comments. Oh, excuse me, we do need a vote to defer. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. All right, public comments. Somebody was going to make a public.
Yes.
Oh, Pedro has some public comments to make.
Okay, I like to present United States Coast Guard and United States Coast Guard Auxiliary. We like to present two certificate of appreciations to two members of our Elderly Affairs Committee. One is to Alexandra Alonso. Thank you for your help. And the other one will be to our chair, Dorothy Weeks. Thank you, Dorothy.
Thank you. How nice. Thank you very much, Pedro.
Thank you.
You can thank the Coast Guard for us. Okay. Moving on to presentations. Oh, I'm sorry, Nancy.
I want to go back to conditions, motions, and distractions.
Right?
Or I can just do it in one comments, whatever you need.
Go ahead. Go ahead. We don't have any minutes. But go ahead.
I just wanted the committee to know that the safety committee approved the grant forms, and we're going to have to print it up, I guess. We have to talk about getting them printed up, put out on the tables. And I understand that there's a legal paper going to be donated.
I think you.
I'll donate it.
All right.
And I don't know.
And does she give you the paper and then you're going to have them, or are you?
Oh, I don't know.
Are you-
Just let me know who gets the paper.
Figure out now what steps do we need to take to get the papers on the table out in front. Because remember the last part that the public hearing had talked about and approved was the elimination of asking for the social security number.
Right.
So we voted on that and now everything should be ready to go.
But I thought we agreed that you would have them printed up. She was going to give you the paper. You were going to have them printed up. And then we were going to put them in the bags for the lunches. One of the lunches, we were going to insert them in the bags so all the seniors would have them. Because the seniors don't come to the town. And just putting them out there would be useless. It would be a waste of paper. So,
Missed that part of the meeting where that part was discussed, but that's fine.
okay.
I think that's a great idea, but also some outside. So I will talk with the liaison and get that done.
Okay. And she'll get you the paper. She'll get you the ream of paper that you need.
Just talk to me afterwards to let me know how to get you the remit paper.
Okay, we can take care of that part. And
I will just a second. Are you through though?
Get off track there. Okay, thank you.
Okay. We recognize Jackie LeBeta just arrived. Okay. Presentations. We have Officer Robin and Officer.
One.
Is that? I don't remember his name.
Okay, first of all, I
I
want
don't know
to,
which one's going to
oh,
speak. So
no, I want to introduce Robin Amador. He's going to be my
Amador.
replacement when I leave in about 3 to 4 months. So he's going to be taking over my place. As far as a presentation, I think since we were told about this on Friday, I think this is going to be more like a question and answer. If you guys have any concerns that we can answer. And if you guys really want a presentation later on, we can kind of like do that. But if you guys have any concerns that that maybe is going on in your neighborhood or with the committee, then myself and Robin can answer.
well, I'll start off because I'm the one that brought it up. My concern is if we, through our lunches and bringing lunches to seniors, and we see a senior that is being abused or harassed by a neighbor or a relative, or what responsibility, or do we have a responsibility to do something about that?
Good morning, everyone. Well, first and foremost, when you have a victim, the victim normally is the person that comes across and asks for a report or asks for a police assistance. So if somebody else is noticing that there might be a victim, the first step should be to talk to that person first. Say, listen, we have a situation and we believe that this is going on or that's going on, and then go from there. Because if there's a crime being committed, absolutely the police will get involved, especially if there's an elderly affairs crime where it's taken more priority in many ways, because not that there's coaching, but at the same time, there's a lot of times if they're very elderly, person very elderly, then there's more that needs to be done with that person in order to help them just even figure out sometimes what's going on if they're at a point of dementia, things like that, which occur. So my first step would be to talk to that person first, because again, if there's no victim, then there's no crime.
Well, I had one in particular that I've been helping out, bringing food to, and I've noticed it myself because I noticed the person that's doing it tried it on me. She says, "Excuse me," and she went in her house. She's afraid to go out of her house because the lady sits. They're built around, houses are built around, and there's a bunch of grass there. She sits out in a chair and has this big dog, no leash. Lady's afraid to go out of the house because she's afraid that all she has to do is make a command and the dog could come in and knock her down. So, and there's been a lot of other things. And I know that a councilman one time witnessed the lady was crying so hard because she can't do anything. She stays in the house. She has no family. I won't say how old she is because I don't want her to be embarrassed, but she's at an age where she really needs help. So I just didn't know if I had a responsibility to bring it to somebody's attention. Is there a company, who do we go to when we have, is this something we refer to you and you find somebody, or how do you deal with this?
Like Officer Amador said, you can refer to the police,
Okay.
and there's an elderly abuse detectives that we have in Miami-Dade. They will investigate, and they will see if they can maybe can go involve the state. With something the state has a program, Dade County has a program, or social workers. But it's very hard to sometimes prove.
Oh, I know.
Right? So the best thing to do is just to call us, and then we'll make an initial investigation, and then it'll get referred to the detectives, and then they'll handle it, even more.
Well, me and another person have got her a camera now set up by the door.
Yeah, no,
So
and the more proof you have, it's better, because sometimes these people, there's no proof, or it's hard to get proof, and but if you have the proof, because it has more, on the sentencing. If you commit a crime on somebody over 65, there are more years that they put on your sentence. So
Okay.
it has been taken care of. It's just very hard to I guess, to prove.
And hello?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I have a question. I work with a lot of people that come and have been economically abused, the elderly. And the police's response usually is that's a civil matter. Is there a department that, because I can tell you, it's not normally reported by police. They normally say it's a civil matter, especially if it's between family. They will say it's a civil matter. Is there some way that Miami-Dade or Miami Lakes Police Department can get trained so that they realize that it's not a civil matter? And their response is, that's a civil matter, and they will not even take a report. And I know this because I'm an attorney, and I deal with this constantly.
Yeah, sometimes like the police kind of try to get away with just saying that it's a civil matter, but in reality it's theft.
I understand.
Right, so
I understand. I was a public defender
right,
for
that's why I
11
say
years,
that we.
So I know the crimes very well.
That's how
and
I
I try to explain this to officers, and it's not just Miami Lakes. It's throughout.
No, it's
throughout the
random
county.
because that's usually what they, what most of the time some people will say, oh, it's a civil matter, let them go to civil court. But we can make the report, we can have the investigators investigate. They usually are very well trained in a specific of, like, let's say elderly abuse, and they will make the decision of whether to charge it as a crime or not. So what we need to do is tell our officers, which I'll go back and tell the majors, to actually say, hey, write a report. Let the detectives make the decision, because sometimes there's even more underlying, factors that you're not aware of. So basically, they write a very simple report. The detectives get it. The detective will go investigate and let them make the decision. So I'll tell them.
I would appreciate it because I can tell you I would say more than 50% of the time, unless it's a beating. Understand that if the elderly person is physically hurt, it's a different situation. But I'm talking about economic abuse or verbal abuse. And like you say, it's very hard to prove, but witness testimony is evidence. It doesn't have to be, on a video. It doesn't have to be,
Right.
evidence that here it is, here's fingerprints. And I know that police officers like to go, well, there's no fingerprints, there's no hard evidence. And oh, they're related to you. So, maybe you told them and you just forgot, because I've heard the officers say that to elderly. It's, well, maybe you forgot that you gave them the money. No, I didn't forget. And they're like, well, that's a civil matter. It's a family thing. So I just would like to see the police department actually take a more active role in elderly abuse, economic and physical abuse.
I'll just add to one. I can tell you that here in the town, because that happens a lot I would say in very crime-ridden districts, where the officers will get there and the main goal is fast. And unfortunately, it's just the way it is in some places, and I don't know how that could be fixed, but I know in the town here, since there is less crime, there's more opportunity for the officers to get involved into the reports. And as long as anybody says, listen, regardless of if it's a crime or not, I would like a report, at least an information report, that I think would be the best way, because again, those information reports are taken up with the detectives, and the detectives can go back and say, okay, let's follow up on this, and we have something here. Because of the age, especially, they will be more cognitive to see the report. So,
Is there a detective in Miami Lakes, since they're being assigned to detectives that are that we can refer the individual to once the police officer gets the report?
the thing is that every report is given, there's 3 different detectives that handle kind of the same things, but in different areas. So what happens if it's in one area, then it's one detective, it's in another area, it's another detective. So it's kind of difficult to say, okay, this detective is gonna handle this, or this one's gonna handle that. But I know that it will get to a detective, and that's really where it needs to go, for them to just follow up with that.
But what you're saying is, do we have like a specific person? No.
No.
But in Miami-Dade County, what we have is, and this is how the town benefits, is that we have detectives for everything.
I understand. But getting to them is an odyssey, just so you understand.
Right.
It's
No,
not-
I
it's
do
not a-
understand because
not-
it's,
That's why if we had a name so that people
well, I
here,
can
I'm
give you
sure-
names of the, I can find out who in Miami-Dade,
and-
like the
and
elderly crimes,
that way we could
unit.
share it with the committee
Right.
so that if somebody says, oh, I called the police and they said, oh, it's a civil matter, which happens.
no, but
And
then,
it's happened here in Miami Lakes.
but then
just so
what you
know.
would do is just call the major. I mean, the major here has almost a direct line to the public, and he's in charge of all of it, so he'll take care of it.
Okay.
But like saying that, it's like I'm saying, it's like, there's no homicide detective here in Miami Lakes,
No, I
so,
understand.
but you guys have every possible crime, missing persons, animal abuse, every type of detective, that every type of crime out there, Miami-Dade County has a specialized unit for it. And it's very hard to have one person, be, take care of all the
I understand, but if they're, out of the 3 detectives, one of them is a little more trained.
I'm going to tell that to
That would
the,
be-
I'm going to get back and tell that to
then,
the, right.
or all
Then maybe
3
we
of
can
the
have at least
detectives are
one,
trained.
right.
Then when somebody like the person Dottie's speaking of, if she makes a phone call because she feels physically threatened, it's an assault.
Right.
A physical threat.
No, we can
is
have
an
like a roll
assault.
call from one of those detectives in Dade County to actually come over to the town and actually, advise all the officers, this is the type of report that type of things that you're looking for. And I'll get back to them so that way we can get more training on, like it's called roll call training. They'll come from over there to here and they'll get the whole squad like that's on the road, and they'll tell them this is what you need to do when it's, elderly abuse and these are the crimes. And you're like, don't say it's a civil matter when this is like this. So they're more informed.
Okay, thank you.
My question is, if you go out and visit and then you file the report, the person that's filing the report doesn't have to. You will refer it to a detective, right?
Yeah, we always refer everything else to detective because basically like the person that answers your call is just basically like a road unit that's there to take the information.
Okay.
He's taking the information, then he puts it goes to a detective, unless he sees something there that he needs to take action on. If they make a complaint and he actually sees that there is being abuse there, he'll make an arrest right there.
Okay. Omaida.
I'm a senior. I live alone, and the officer knows this guy. For 20 years, he's been making me miserable. I'm waiting for murder to be legalized so I can go kill him. Because it's the only way I'm going to do this. Because you have to police, then the police will come to arrest me.
She's harassed the whole complex.
I'm ready to go jail now because there's nothing I can do that, that I can get rid of this guy.
He's
I
suing
put
too.
an alejamiento.
Yeah, a restriction.
For 90 days, he didn't show up. So it didn't work. He used to be hiding from the sheriff. And they says, no, I can't break the door. I know he's there, but I can't do nothing. Nobody can do nothing. So I'll have to figure it out myself what to do to get rid of him. Even if I gotta spend the rest of my life in jail, they don't charge me for being in jail, right? I'll have 3 meals a day.
Yeah.
So it's better than living with this guy.
Yeah, I understand her completely because, yes.
He almost out of there because he makes everybody, there's a guy that lives on top of him, and every time he takes his dog for a walk, he's there because he doesn't work. He's there to harass him. And he's, I mean, I understand that he is not, he used to live in Hialeah, and Raúl Martinez was living on.
Yeah, no, I'll that person right there is now suing me for $6 million in court. $6 million.
That's why he's
I don't know where
retiring.
I don't know how I'm going to get the $6 million if I lose, but that person has taken me to court for, and I don't want to talk too much about it because it's an ongoing thing.
No,
And
you
the trial
can't
will be like
because-
in 2 months. So, but he is suing me for $6 million.
I'm the first house on this side of Miami Lakes. The first house. I've been here a long time. They gotta go to Mahogany Court because we don't Nothing's being done? I mean,
It's not that nothing's being done. It's like, it's,
our neighbors don't.
well, it just depends on
You're
the
very
people you have
lucky.
around. So you're very lucky that, Miami Lakes is one of the lowest crime areas in Dade County. It is. But that there is no crime, no. There's always crimes here, and we get crimes from people coming from other areas. So, but we try to take care of everything.
Are they talking about the east side or the west side? I mean, what side?
Give it a couple of minutes so we can move on.
I wish I could.
Well, okay, I want to thank you both, and if you get some answers,
can't
want
do
to come
anything.
back next month, you're welcome to. Okay, thank you. And you're welcome to stay to the end if you want. The next,
Well, thank you guys for having me.
you're so welcome.
Thank you.
We have another presentation tonight. Excuse me, please, please. Omaida, please. We have another presentation. We've had something on our agenda for the last couple of months, and there was research being done on it. It's senior security alerts. And today we have Bill Holland from Edward Jones, Ryan's father, and he's going to give us a little bit about what he's been working on for us. Because in the future, we're planning on having a forum for seniors to see all these things that's out there. Bill. Oh, yes, let him have the microphone, yes. Marie.
Good morning. So my name's Bill Holland, and I do work with Edward Jones Investments, and I've been with them for the last 18 years as of July 19th. So I just passed my 18th anniversary with them. And this subject is very relevant that you brought up because you're concerned specifically with the financial, and there's obviously a lot of different forms that elder abuse takes. And obviously I'm not an authority on the physical or the legal side of things, but on the financial side, we've had 2 cases in my 18 years out of my branch alone where we've had to report elder abuse from a financial perspective to the state authorities. So there is a state of Florida Family Protection Services that will pursue financial fraud with elders. And so you don't have to be associated with a financial services firm to call them. Those are 2 that we reported. We've detected several that with people that weren't clients of ours. So it is a very sensitive subject. Let me give you a little bit of background with my credentials. I had a 24-year career in information technology. Started out as a computer programmer on 80-column punch cards. So that tells you about how far back I go. But in 2001, the Federal Reserve enacted a policy where every bank had to have a information security officer. And I was given that dubious title in 2001. Part of it was a result of 9/11. But my job was to go around and educate bank employees around the state of Ohio, in addition to our clients, create policies for our clients to prevent information security. And what I would say to you, I didn't catch your name, I'm so sorry.
Lourdes Corvo.
Okay. What I would say to you is the best way to address financial fraud with the elderly is prevention. Because as you've just pointed out so succinctly, very little can be done about it after the fact. And that's even at the state level. When Charlie Crist was our governor, I called up there. I was sitting with a client who was part of a lottery scam. And we called up there to get some information and was told by the Secretary of State that there was nothing they could do because most of these organizations are located offshore and there's no US law that can go after them. So the only way, I'm not gonna say the only way, but the best way is prevention. So that's what I offer. I would love to be able to come down and show you some of the ways. It's not a sales pitch. I don't do sales pitches for Edward Jones. If you like me and want to do business with me, that's great. But I'd love to educate people. And some of the oh, you know what? I just last week got an email and it said, you have been identified, or your car has been identified as fleeing the scene of an accident in Broward County, and you need to call this number immediately. Well, first of all, I wasn't in an accident. I know that for sure. But I also go ahead and look and see who it's from. And I'll give you a tip right now. And that is, you know, that at, and then whatever it is in an email address usually is not an official capacity. It's some kind of a Gmail or Hotmail or AOL.com type of suffix to those. And you know right then that they're not legitimate. So I did not flee the scene of an accident. I've gotten things from Netflix saying that my credit card on account has expired and I need to call them immediately. It looks really, really official. So listen, they're creative and they look legit, and it's so difficult for someone with my background to even identify some of these scams that are going on. So it's really important, especially for the elders in our community who are so susceptible, because many times they don't understand the technology that's developing. Holy smokes, I had a 24-year career and I don't understand some of the technology that's been developed. And so it's very important to be ahead of it. And that's the only thing I can tell you, is to be ahead of it. We talk about grandparent scams. I don't know how many of you have ever seen that. We actually had one. My stepfather was called, and they said, your son Ryan is in Germany and is trying to call you, and don't tell his dad because his dad will be furious. And you need to send money over to Germany, wired over right away. So it's out there, and they use scare tactics. That's the grandparent scam, one of the grandparent scams. Social Security scams, just tax refund fraud, sweepstakes and lottery fraud, which I talked about earlier, romance and long distance scams, collections, email compromise scams, and many, many, many more. We'll probably not cover all of them, but I'd love to have the opportunity to just walk through a couple of these things, and not specific to the scam, but to show you what's a red flag, and how to address it when you detect something like that. That's about it. Is there any questions?
Well, I think the most complaints I get are the robocalls. They don't
Okay.
know. I says, don't answer if you don't recognize the number.
Yeah.
If it's important, they'll leave their number and you can call them back if you know it.
And I do
But-
that. I do not answer any number I don't have in my
I
phone.
don't either.
Yeah.
And I have had one that's been calling me morning, noon, and night. I finally picked it up and said, if you call one more time, I'm going to call the police on you. And I hung up. So, but that robocalls are usually the worst. Who had their hand up, Nancy?
I just want to say, of all the things that you talked about, different types of calls. I got one yesterday. Those of you who know my full name, I got one yesterday that said that my name is on a list of people that have done something wrong or whatever, and it's been suspended. My name has been suspended. I'm Nancy Rogers. Go find Nancy Rogers. I know that it's me as opposed to the 9,000 others that must be out there. It was such a ridiculous call. I got a call on Friday, so I didn't really think of the other robocalls that I get. I have a phone that shows the ID and whatever, but mostly out of town. And every once in a while, I hear it annoyed, so I answer the call and I have the airborne. It's the only way that I'm Italian with everything. So it's the only way that I can walk and I did something important today. So that's just my funny angle of that. The thing now is they're suspending names, by the way. Just enough.
I don't know how they do that.
I can tell you that a very common one is, because I get it from a lot of elderly clients that I represent, I got a call from the IRS. And it's like, do not, the IRS will not call you. They will send you a letter. They will not call you. Please tell all your elderly friends, if they get a call from the IRS, do not give your
social, because they'll say, we need to confirm your social to make sure it's you. And the elderly person will give their social. And now they have full identity fraud happening.
Yeah.
So don't. The masses.
Well, that's what we're planning on doing with our next new budget comes in. We'll have some money to be able to have a forum and have the seniors come like we used to do it right here in this off right here. And I think it's really needed. I think it's really needed. So if anybody else got any comments? Okay. Willie, I have something to add to new business. Is this the point where I say I want to add an item to it? To the agenda. Under new business, B, Latinos and Alzheimer's. I want to add that subject to there. Comments from the chair. Willie, I've been asked, are we going to do the health fair? Are we still looking at it?
Yeah, we were looking at sometime in September.
September?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Willie and I both have been getting a lot of calls from different companies. He passes them on to me. Medicare plans. I think there's another one. The Jewish Foundation contacted me on wanting to do some, like we did here with the doctors. Yeah. I told them as soon as my new budget opened up, we would be contacting them.
Definitely.
Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And let me see, what else was that? I think that's all the ones I had for now. Under old business, we had the Care Plus car sanitizing event, which was really nice. Unfortunately, we didn't get to do everybody because it started to rain. But all those that were there, really, they enjoyed it. They had a place for them to sit. They had water. And they had pamphlets for them to read. And it took, I think, a total of 7 minutes. They took the lady like a minute, 2 minutes to do the car, and then they waited 5 minutes, and then they could leave. And it went fast. We started at 9, and we had to quit about 11:15 because of the rain. So in that time, they did like 24 cars. So it was something that they thought was nice, that they felt better about their car, was cleaner, and whatever. So under new business, the traveling bingo this month is going to be at Olay's. He's going to start it at 10:30 earlier, because then we get the traffic in and out of that shopping center is miserable to working with. So we're going to get him in and out of there, I hope by 11:15 or so. Boulez, it's right next to Sergio's. That's all I know. I don't know their address. It's between Sergio's and Jersey Mike's. It's in that shopping center. You've been there before. And the next one is, this one was sent to Luis Cuyazo, Latinos and Alzheimer's. This is Mr. Mario Tapia. He wants to do I guess it's a forum, or I'm calling it that. I think they're pretty sure they serve lunch. We did it 2 years ago, I think, because it was over at, we didn't sponsor it. He came in, sponsored it. It was Roberto Alonso. He wants to do it again this year. And I wanted to get some feedback from all of you on it, on the subject. But it's only for Latinos. That's where I'm coming from. Now, maybe we should do it. I don't know, but then we need to find somebody to do it for the English speaking. Alzheimer's for Latinos and Alzheimer's. That's his subject matter.
The last time they proposed this, sorry. Thank you. The last time they proposed this, I explained that even though, yes, we are multiracial, multilingual community, in order to understand, a lot of Hispanics have not learned English very well. In order for them to learn anything, you have to speak in their language so that they can understand. And my idea is go for it.
Well, my thing is if we do that, then we need to find somebody to do it in English for the English speaking. Because this subject right now is so important with the seniors since COVID. And they've been shut in, and I just talk to so many every day, and it is so important. So if we do it for one, we're going to have to find somebody else to do it for the English speaking. That's where I was coming from. I don't mind if he does it, but we need to find somebody to do it in English too. Yes, Rosario.
Just an interpreter, maybe somebody, you know how they do the sign language?
No, let me tell you,
That
that it's so
doesn't-
complicated that if you do it in both languages, you lose an audience. So I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah, it really is. But I think that it's good if we do it in two languages, and the Alzheimer's Association will be more than happy to do one in English. And I can contact somebody in the Alzheimer's
I
Association.
have one that contacted you. I think her name was,
Gloria?
no.
Gloria.
The one that you gave
Her and I
me.
know who it is. It's Gloria.
Jeanette.
She's the new
So-
person
Okay,
reaches
I
out
was
to the
gonna say,
community.
yes, I agree with Lourdes. If we have an interpreter, it's gonna be too much confusion.
I think so.
Forms are for like questions and answers and support. So, the Alzheimer's Association is blowing up now. They're trying to do so much more education, especially after COVID.
Oh, we
They'll
need that.
gladly, in a heartbeat, do something, in English.
Would you like to take that and run and get us somebody? Because if we have that, then I feel more comfortable because this subject is really hot right now and we got to be concerned about everybody, not just, Yes, Omaida.
That doesn't work. We did it once and one doctor spoke in Spanish and then the other one in English. And it was so long that the people that didn't understand when the Spanish one was talking and the people that spoke only English got up and left.
Yeah. But we're going to make them separate. We're not going to do them together. We're going to do them separate. We're not going to do them together.
That sounds good.
Ryan.
Yeah, the Latinos and Alzheimer's was actually my first event I attended before I became a part of this committee, is to kind of introduce myself to this committee. And having at the time working for Edward Jones, I knew had a lot of resources for Alzheimer's. So this particular issue was kind of near and dear to me. The main problem that we ran into, just to kind of rehash it, this Latinos for Alzheimer's event that was put on was above and beyond. It was a really impressive event. So I kind of agree that they had doctors from the University of Miami come. They had all sorts of they had, I think it was 3 or 4 speakers. They had lunch provided. It was a fantastic event, but those that spoke English had no idea what was going on. And the discrepancy is that this was sponsored by somebody that brought in all of these resources. And so when I had gone to the Alzheimer's, they didn't allocate the same amount of budget, the same amount of event. The second event that was planned for the English speaking, it was not at all the same type of event, not at all the same sort of resources. And so you experience two entirely, if you're English speaking, then you say, well, look at everything that they got, all the resources, all the information, all the speakers that came in, and we don't get that same sort of information. They had a 3-hour event. We had a 45-minute session. Like, it's not the same. And that I in speaking with some of the others, and I used to play, those of you that are familiar too, I used to play softball with Dave. He's got a group of Spanish speaking guys that are very animated and like to talk to each other in Spanish. And David has the English speaking guys that go out and play softball. So I know that there's an English speaking group that doesn't necessarily speak Spanish, and there has to be some sort of, there's a desire to try to make the events, not to bring the other one down certainly, but to allocate enough of a budget to bring the English speaking event up to the quality that the Latinos and Alzheimer's is.
Well, from what I understand, Mr. Tapia, I think is Mario Tapia, he's going to sponsor the whole thing. It's not going to cost us, but he wants to use Roberto Alonso, which I'm going to refer to you. And I will get back with him until he wants to do it in September. So I can let him know that it has been approved and he needs to contact you, or do you want to contact him and yourself?
I'll reach out to him, but let's take a vote, official vote.
Yeah, we're going to take a vote on it. Okay. All in
For the committee.
favor of the Latin, huh? All right, go ahead, make the motion. I'm
So I
sorry.
want to make a motion to approve in Spanish and we try to do it also in English. One in English and one in Spanish.
I think we need two votes on it. Let's start with the first one. Those in favor of the Latinos for Alzheimer's, say aye. Anybody opposed? No. I'm not finished. I'm not finished, please. That was the Spanish one. Now, all those in favor of having one in English, say aye. Any opposed? No. Okay.
Who was the second?
I did. She didn't. Yes.
Alzheimer. Now, with the Spanish people, and I exclude myself because I speak English, the amount of information and help is there. But Hispanics, we kind of don't want to know that grandma cannot remember my name, okay? So there is that problem, because when my husband was diagnosed with Alzheimer, I moved like a crazy person. He went to a daycare that was specifically for Alzheimer. I would go to Mount Sinai for conference every Wednesday. You don't know the amount of information that those people give you in English or in Spanish. The doctors are there, the nurses are there, but you have to want to go. If they are coming because we're serving lunch, wrong.
Well, there's nothing we can do about that.
You're-
We're going to have
We're
the
not wasting our time, but we're wasting the time of the presenter and the time of the town. They don't want to
But
acknowledge
Ada,
that
we
somebody
have no way of knowing what reason a person's coming to an event. We're doing our best to put that information out there to educate everybody. We're going to do it in Spanish. We're going to do it in English. And if they have another reason for coming, there's nothing we can do about that. Go ahead.
Can I just say, there are some people that are motivators like you, that are self-driven by you, and there are other people, unfortunately, that need to be hand-fed information. And this may help those that need to be hand-fed the information and assist them, because they don't have the resources, the computers or whatever, to be able to look it up, or have someone help them look it up, and it provides them with information. So I really do believe it's good to have it in English and in Spanish, because I think it's very needed.
I agree with you, Lourdes, but I personally have seen that, and I have said to the family, look, this is the phone number you call. This is, they have Spanish-speaking nurses and doctors. And did you call? Did I call? No. All they do is call you back and says, he's getting worse, or she's getting worse. What did they wait until the person walks out of the door and gets lost? Too bad.
Well, that's beyond our control.
Answer in the sense that nobody wants to say it out loud, but somebody has it. It's like and for Alzheimer's, for Latin people, and I've lectured for the Alzheimer's Association and for other groups for Mount Sinai, those meetings that you have attended to, I've lectured for them in Spanish. And I can tell you, a lot of people think es cosa de viejo, which means it's an old thing. Oh no, es cosa de viejo. And you're like, no, it's Alzheimer's. And they're like, no, it's just cosa de viejo. People tend to forget.
Es cosa de viejo.
Es cosa de viejo. And you're like, no, it's not cosa de viejo. It's a disease.
Cosa de viejo.
All right, just a moment. Pedro, just a moment. Sarah, you've had your hand up. That's right. That's right.
Okay, all I can say is this: Mario has a lot of professionals. They know exactly, what to talk about it. I think he brings, If he can do it also in English, it'll be very nice. I think
I've asked him.
this event is, no?
He's only doing it in Spanish. I've already asked.
Okay.
So Alexander's going to find us a speaker, and then we'll set up a date. We'll work with Willie and get a date and a time for that. And then at least that'll be something looking forward for our next budget year. Any other questions or comments? Yes.
When are we going to have another luncheon? There we go.
Oh, we're going to have it Wednesday.
Huh?
Our luncheon is this Wednesday.
No.
No, I'm talking about the real luncheon where everybody comes and sits and.
All right. Well, that's a good question. It's being asked by to me, and then when I don't give the right answer, they ask the mayor, and then he tells them to come to me. We right now have less than $1,000 left in our budget, and with that, I have proposed 5 lunches. Now, if we bring it to Mary Collins, you're going to eliminate all the homebound, because I have probably over 50 that are homebound. They cannot get out. How do I have the luncheon there? Freebie cannot deliver that many lunches. People are going to play bingo, and then they're going to go out. I'm afraid with the summer, it could spoil. My goal is to wait until October. I think we voted on this in the last meeting, because I asked how long, because Manny had brought it up to me, Willie had brought it up to me. And with the amount of money we have, I don't see how we can do any way different unless we just have Mary Collins and have somebody come in. But it's going to cost us more now because they're going to be bringing the lunches to us. That means unless we have somebody to pick them up and bring them over there, I don't know. I'm trying to get those prices right now. Before we used just one vendor, we had Giordano's, and she brought everything over and set it up. Do we have it where they come by? Do we leave it in a box and they sit and play bingo? My preference is we put it in a box, and having a line where people go by and pick out what they want because they just come and grab what they want like they used to do. No. So there's a lot of things we got to work out before we open it up. And those that you have worked with the lunches, you've seen how the seniors will just get up and go over and take what they want. You know, I didn't want that, I want this. And we can't have that with COVID out there. So if we're going to have somebody that's going to have to do all box lunches. And a bottle of water or something like that.
And you can't have 6 people or 8 people sitting at a table.
And well, that's
With
the
the
other
COVID
thing that
going
I
up.
have been trying to get with Willie and his second man in command is how many people will they allow us into Mary Collins with bingo? Nobody's been able to give me a figure on that yet, because we got 116 that can go over there and play bingo. So we got to figure out, how do we say, okay, you 40 can go, but the rest of you can't. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of tough decisions here. And I'm just trying to I'm working with Willie to find out how many can we handle there without a problem, and then find a restaurant that will deliver all in boxes, you know. There's a lot of things involved in it. So I'm hoping it's resolved by end of September so we can start October out. We may not even have lunches in September. I don't know. Yes, Nancy.
I'm gonna be the bad guy and say this, I'm trying to see both sides of the story. And if I heard correctly, and I gotta say that first, if I heard correctly, you're talking about possibly having a luncheon of some sort at a bingo at Mary Collins, and you're being concerned as well about the shut-ins. Technically, the shut-ins have been pretty good with coming in their cars and getting their lunches and whatever.
Those are not shut-ins. Those are people that actually drive. The shut-ins are the ones the freebie serves. Yeah, the freebie serves the shut-ins. But I have over 50, but we have a few residents like Martha Gonzalez. She's got 11 people right around her street that she brings food to. I have another one that has 5 on her street. So if it weren't for those people, I don't know what we'd be doing.
What Ramon is that the shut-ins, would they also, would they want to be coming to their conference? They want to be specific.
They can't. Most of them can't even drive. They live alone. Yeah, yeah. Most of it, in fact,
There is a definite shut-in that's not going to come out.
that's definitely. So those are the concerns we're working on right now. And Willie and I need to get together and sit down and say, what are we going to do and how we're going to do it? And if anybody's got any suggestions they want to email me, please do. Oh, all right. I'm sorry. Can't see you
Yeah, you don't look over here.
because you talk too long.
Oh, sorry, I'll keep it short. Can I suggest if we do a budget specifically for shut-ins?
Not now. We can't. We're going to
No,
be.
not right now, but for the next budget, like.
Oh, we've already
the
done
next-
our budget now. And I'm hoping it gets approved. I don't think it will, but we're going to have to wait and find out.
But just an idea. for the
It might be
future.
something to consider. We
The
should.
committee did increase the budget. So yeah, when the budget is approved, you guys can, determine that as a committee.
And move part of our luncheon budget.
Well,
Yep.
that's why we increased our lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Because you guys are serving more people now. From the 70 before,
Definitely.
80, now you're 155, 154.
And that's why we increased a lot of it for the lunch. The lunch we increased by,
to-
I think
to
it was
cover.
7,000. We increased 7,000.
Right, so if we can allocate part of it, sorry, I feel weird not being able to speak with a mask on. If we can allocate maybe part of it for the shut-ins, of the total budget that we get, so that some of the money goes towards the shut-ins.
That's not the only problem. The only problem is getting it to them.
Well, that would be part of the budget. It would include
The food and the,
delivery fee.
oh, you're really talking. Okay. All right. No, it's something we're working on.
Like
A lot
Uber
of them
Eats.
will tell
We
you,
have-
shut it. I don't drive. I don't have a
Uber
car.
Dash, Uber Eats,
I
maybe we
can't
can
see.
work with
I-
them.
Yes, Alex.
Motion to adjourn.
Yes.
Second.
Appointment at 9:30.
It is
and
now
I'm
9.
Already late.
Closing the meeting at 9:34. Thank you all for coming. And remember, our meetings are at 8:30. I told you.
Here at 8:30.
Yeah, the one that
But the
arrived late.
email I got said 9 o'clock.
Yes, we changed it because there was an issue about some of the attendance.
Well, you can't be changing things on me.
Now it's changed throughout.
Because they have another meeting.
That's fine. It's just I need to know which one. The email I got said 9 o'clock.
Me too, that's what I.
That's why I came a little before 9. I didn't hear that.
You did miss the one.
Huh?
You started just when you came in. We were waiting for the IT, but it's 8:30 now.
By the
It's
way,
changed from.
Will, Willie, one of the things I would recommend, because the last meeting was not recorded whatsoever, voice, only the picture.
We're going to check it. Yes, something happened. Yes, sir.
What you need to do is, a lot of times you don't start the recording till the meeting starts. People forget.
Yeah.
So start it before the meeting and then just let her play.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring the backup recorder too, that we used to use.
Okay.
Because now we're depending on this, right?
Right.
I know, I understand you, man.
Okay,
It's a
well,
pleasure. sir.
good seeing you.
And likewise. And thank you.
Anytime.
Let's close this out.